Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another chapter video. Possibly the last one for this year. I haven't quite worked that out yet. I don't know if I have room for one in December because December is going to be a little bit hectic. However, Heather and I have decided to do another chapter collaboration. This time we are talking about holiday romances, or in my case, because I pretty much only have either Halloween or Christmas romances, mine is going to be Christmas holiday romance themed. We're going to do that for a chapter, and I happen to have about 14 Christmas books unread on my Kindle. One is for a project next month and the other one is an anthology, so I've taken 2 of those out, which will leave me with 12 books to try. These range from short stories to full-length novels. I think that's a nice range, and I will admit I am trying to film at least this intro before the Archangel's Consort live show, so I'm just trying to get through my morning, really. But the books that are on my try a chapter list for today are Spanked by Leighton Greene, Hot Mall Santa by A.J. Truman, Puck the Holidays by K.D. Miller, The Gargoyle Grinch by Lillith Stone, Light Up My Heart by Joanne Spiers, Sinner and Sleigh Rides by Eliza Black, Christmas Deal by Pippa Brook, Seduction and Snowflakes by Becker, Santa Maybe by Carla Luna, Harrowing Christmas. I think this one is by Saxon James. I forgot to download it before I started filming this video, and I think it is a short story in the Frat Wars series, if that's what it is. So this one could potentially just get read regardless, because I don't think it's going to actually be novella length. And then finally Solstice, Wishes and Christmas Kisses by TJ Nichols. And I'm really excited to jump into all of them. So if you have somehow missed out on all of the try chapter videos I've filmed and uploaded this year, I try the first chapter of all these books. I decide whether it's something I want to continue reading, whether it's something that I want to DNF permanently, or something that I just want to hold for a period of time. I will try and read at least one of these before the end of this video. So let's get into it with the first book. Alright, so pretty sure Spanked is not a holiday romance. Pretty sure it's not. It is a queer kink scene kind of story. We're following Ezra in the first chapter, who is new to the kink scene, has been burnt by his first dom, and his friends are trying to help set him up with people who are probably more suitable for him at his individual level. So not holiday themed, so not going to be reading in this video. Leighton Greene is an Australian author though, so I will hold on to this one and just move it into the Australian folder. What is this try chapter without me having a book in the wrong category? I mean, do we even know me? I'm not sure how I feel about Hot Mall Santa. The first chapter is from Tom's point of view. He works in retail at a home decor store, and essentially he's crushing on his boss, who has a boyfriend, and his best friend and work friend comes in and basically says there's a Hot Mall Santa, and there's some banter between her and an old lady who is shopping in the store, and they're comparing the fact that this guy is really hot. I don't know how I feel about it. I might come back to it. Alright, so Puck the Holidays starts out from Hattie's perspective. She has been in an abusive relationship. Her ex-partner is exhibiting stalking behaviour, and she's also gotten a job with the Vipers hockey team. I don't know, like the first chapter was very info dump heavy for a contemporary romance, and I'm just super picky. We know this about me. I'm tentatively going to say no. Might be my first official no. I'm going to keep going and I will think on this. Alrighty, I like the first chapter of the Grumpy Gargoyle. Grumpy Gargoyle? Yeah, no, the Gargoyle Grinch. Oh my gosh. Right kind of alliteration, wrong words. The first chapter is from Maisie's perspective. She is looking for a temporary housekeeping position in the city of Motham, which I'm just giggling because in my head I'm going, Gotham, it's Gotham, except we're paranormal. Anyway, so she is looking for a temporary gig over the holidays to earn some money that she's saving to open a centre for troubled youth in the city, and she gets this job offer to spend the Christmas and New Year period as the housekeeper for a very prominent gargoyle figure in the city, and the only catch is that literally she's been told he doesn't really want to interact with you, he just needs someone to make sure that the meals are prepared and ready and that the house is kept tidy. And she's like, great, sign me up, because that's totally fine with me. I'm on board with this. So Light Up My Heart by Joanne Spiers is an Australian Christmas romance. It's a novella. I will be keeping this. I don't know if I'll read it in this video, but we are in Scarlett's perspective in the first chapter. She is currently working at her brother's service station sort of convenience store over the holiday period. Something has happened. She has a regular job in Adelaide, but may or may not still have that job. It's kind of vague on the details of that, but it's the first time she's going to be spending Christmas with her family on their farm for a while. And at the end of the first chapter, she runs into this very grumpy, scowly guy who clearly works at the local hospital, as well as her aunt Lilac, who is trying to rope her into singing Christmas carols for the holiday season. The writing was good. I'm intrigued. It's short. It's Australian. I would probably like to continue this. So Sin and Sleigh Rides is another novella-length story. This one's just over 100 pages. We are in Kara's perspective. She has recently just moved back to her hometown and she's locked herself out of her house and run into the guy that she says was, you know, the biggest arsehole of high school. I don't know. I mean, it's short. That's one of the benefits. So it could be worth keeping around just to have something short to read in the holiday period because we know we're going to need them. I ask you, what 54-page novella-length story needs a prologue? Apparently this one, which kind of sets the tone that there's this cafe and it's run by Mrs. Claus, supposedly the real Mrs. Claus, and that's kind of setting up the fact that this is a magical kind of thing. And then our first chapter is from Carly's perspective. She is supposed to be in Miami getting ready for a cruise over the Christmas period, except her plane was damaged and she's ended up in a small town where the man who she made a marriage pact with decades earlier happens to live, and she's received a fortune from Mrs. Claus that basically says a deal's a deal. Do with that what you will. I mean, it's 54 pages. I think this one is staying as well. I'm intrigued. Okay, so Seduction and Snowflakes seems to be set in the same shared universe as Sin and Sleigh Rides, and honestly, I'm not a fan of the writing. Not a fan of the writing. It's about some girlfriends who are planning at like a Christmas trip away. I just don't care. All right, so Santa Maybe, the first chapter is from Rosie's perspective. She works at a boutique kind of hotel and she's just had her performance review, and the new white guy in charge of the hotel is a white guy with money in charge of a hotel is probably the best way to describe him. Anyway, he's basically said, if we don't turn this hotel around, or if you don't turn this hotel around, you may not have a job in like 2 months time. So be prepared for long nights, stressful days, etc. because you're going to be doing all of the work for the hotel that I own. Charming guy, clearly. Anyway, she has this review right before she goes out with some friends, and they're going out to a bar, and one of her friends has invited a guy that she had a crush on months earlier who she's kind of refused to see since he got a girlfriend. I don't know how I feel about this one. So we're going to keep moving along. I want to see how long A Harrowing Christmas by Saxon James is, whether it's novella length or whether it's a short story, and then we have one more book after this. So A Harrowing Christmas was just a bonus scene, so I read the whole thing because it wasn't very long. It is from Robbie's perspective. It is part of the Frat Wars series, and essentially it is Christmas at Robbie's family's home, and they have a Secret Santa competition because everything in the Frat Wars world is a competition, especially for Robbie, where all the Secret Santa gifts are hidden around the house and the gardens of his parents' home, and it's a race to find your gift and get it open in order to win a prize, which is homemade cookies or something like that. Anyway, and then they're all opening their presents, and Robbie is being rather crude, but ends up with a children's microphone that plays Frozen songs, and everyone is just very unhappy by this because he insists on singing. Anyway, it was fun, it was cute, and I'm glad that I read it. I had completely forgotten that this was a collection of short stories and novellas that are all set around a Christmas theme with some paranormal or fantasy-ish themes. And the first story is following Calvin, who lives in this world. There's cat people. I don't know if that was actually fully explained. Anyway, Calvin is a cat, and basically in this world, cats are considered pets and they're collared, and he is not, and he doesn't want to be. And he is living with his partner, who is an elf, and he's buying a solstice gift for his partner, and is basically blackmailed in the middle of the market into a thieving job, because he also happens to be a thief on the side. And basically the chapter ends with an ultimatum between Calvin and his partner, who wants him to come to his family's solstice party, but wants him to be collared, and Calvin doesn't want to do that. And then he's going out to do this job that he's been blackmailed into doing, and basically gets told by his partner, if you go out, don't come back. I'm intrigued. I will come back to this at some point in December, I think, because I'm intrigued to read more by TJ Nichols, but possibly not for this vlog. Hi, so editing Steph here. I feel like at this point in time, I need to say that whatever I have said in the first half of this video, don't believe a word of what I've said. It's going to be really clear that you can't trust a single thing that I have said in the first half of this video. So what are my thoughts so far? I have moved Star Spanked into another category because it's not Christmas themed. I'm not going to keep reading Hot More Santa or Puck the Holidays or Seduction and Snowflakes or Santa Maybe. I just feel like they're going to be drama. I don't really feel like drama. I don't think so. I would like to save Light Up My Heart for in December. I still haven't made up my mind on Sin and Sleigh Rides, but I feel like I can read Christmas Deal by Pippa Brook because that's super short, and the Gargoyle Grinch today, and that would make me happy. So I'll be back when I have an update. Right, it took me exactly one more page of reading the Christmas Deal to decide to DNF it, because the female character is going on about wanting a baby constantly, like 4 or 5 times in 3 pages. So I'm out. I'm out. We are going to move on to the Gargoyle Grinch. There's something in the water, because I DNF'd the Gargoyle Grinch, and then I decided, okay, well, I'll keep reading. I'll go back to Light Up My Heart by Joanne Spiers, the Australian novella length romance. I'm 30% in, I'm DNFing it. I don't like it. It's driving me nuts. The reason I DNF'd the Gargoyle Grinch is because I don't mind a Grumpy Sunshine story. I love a gargoyle story. Grayson, who is the gargoyle, is quite happy to deliberately make a human feel absolutely uncomfortable and miserable, even though they're there to do a job to help him. And he also called her fat and frumpy, or implied that. Sorry, no, that wasn't the wording. That's what I extrapolated from it. He implied that just because he doesn't like the heat and she has extra padding, that she should be fine living in his house. So no, I'm out. That's not okay. Light Up My Heart, it's fine. Like, this is the problem. It's fine. I don't want fine. I want good. Yeah, it's a small town romance. It's a second chance romance between 2 people who had a fling like 20 years ago or something like that, and have reconnected. And there's obviously some kind of miscommunication thing going on in here as to why they never stayed in contact, and so they've held a grudge. And he's a big Christmas Grinch. Now, I am not the most Christmassy person in the world. It's not something you're going to see me going all out for. Even this is a bit much for me. So that quite literally means at this point that I've DNF'd everything except Solstice Wishes and Christmas Kisses. So maybe I'm reading that today. Maybe that's just maybe I'm just reading that little collection of stories today. It's been a weird one. All right, friends, I won't lie. I have struggled with finishing this vlog. So I did go back to Solstice Wishes and Christmas Kisses, which is the collection of stories by TJ Nichols, and TJ Nichols is an Australian author. There are 5 stories in here. I really liked 2 of them. The other 3 I could take or leave. So I'll talk about the 2 that I liked, because, you know, at least I finished something. It is what it is. The first story I liked is the 3rd story in the collection, which is Elf on the Beach, which is about a guy who runs surfing lessons, and he happens to notice that there's this very pale guy who's there surfing, and as he gets to know this guy a little bit more, he finds out this guy is on a year-long trip from his family, where he has a year to see the world, make a decision before he goes home to either join the family business or to leave that life behind, and works out pretty quickly that this guy is an elf. There is some trauma-based stuff for the human around his family and his history with celebrating the Christmas season, etc., which they kind of work out. But I really like the little surfing scenes and sort of the resolution that the story came to. Probably my favorite story in the collection was the last one, which is The Legend of Gentleman John, which is set in both Dublin and Tasmania, and Gentleman John is a trans convict who was sent to Australia, and it is his ongoing relationship with a member of the Fae who saved his life when he was a 16-year-old and has been visiting him ever since, and they've had this kind of relationship, but it has always been complicated by the fact that this particular fae only visits and ferries the souls of children to the fae world if they're dying. And so you kind of have this dual timeline narrative where we're seeing the past as they've met over the years, and then also the present day where Gentleman John has been shot after attacking and killing a police officer who was hunting him because he was trans. I just liked the mythology around it. There was something in here that I really liked, which was that the fae, when he finds John in Tasmania, essentially basically goes, this is not my land, so I don't control what happens if you die here, because he gives John another option, but because if you die here, I have no say in this. Like, the gods of Ireland or Dublin do not have a say in what happens here because this land is governed by others. And I like that because we know that Australia has a very rich First Nations history and culture and mythology and things like that. So the implication that it has its own thing, that the fae here do not have sway over that. They are visitors and guests and are not permitted to do what they would do elsewhere. Like, I just found that concept really cool. So like, overall I would probably give the collection like a 3. But that does bring us to the end of this vlog, and I have what? 1 book left. The one that was not a Christmas book. Everything else has either been DNF'd or read. So we've done really well at clearing the shelf. Like, that's top-notch effort. It was a struggle to get there. In the description, I'll leave a list of all the book titles down below. I would love to know, have you read any of these books? Are you planning on picking any of them up? Do you have other Christmas romance books on your radar? Feel free to share your recommendations down below. I am hoping, I was talking about this in the live show today, that there is a sapphic monster romance Christmas series of about 4 or 5 books. I'm hoping to do a reading vlog. They're all novella length. I think they're all under 100 pages. So I thought that would be kind of cool to do that one. And then while I was avoiding reading today, I also found an Amy Aislinn Christmas book that I haven't read yet. So there will be some more Christmas books coming in the near future, but they were found after I started this vlog. I'm feeling good, despite the fact that this probably was not my most successful try a chapter in terms of finding books I want to read, but it was probably my most successful in terms of clearing out a shelf of books off my TBR. So there's always that. If you just want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave your favorite Christmas themed emoji down below. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.